Hello, it's me, Goose here. And it has been a while since I done a solo video. Where it's just me, myself, and I. But thank you all so much for your responses to my last free video that I did with my big bro Cabbage of Yikes Reviews, which you guys should totally go subscribe. And just the response from everyone. I know I've been a complete failure in responding and everything, but I see them. I just it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm still getting used to this YouTube thing, but I really do appreciate all your support and your views. And of course, I need to do the YouTube thing, which is like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ding that bell for notifications for any time I make any new uploads to said channel. And I want to get right into what I wanted to talk about. And it's been funny. I have been pretty much a outspoken fan of Final Fantasy VII on my social medias forever. I'm an old man, and as such, as an old man, I have love for old games. And Final Fantasy VII is my one of my favorite games of all time. It used to be my favorite game of all time, but then I started playing more games, and I found that there were other games that were better than Seven. But Seven still holds a special place in my heart, as it does with millions and millions of other people. It helped inspire several copycats, as well as help change the way games are marketed towards Western gamers, as well as, pretty much putting the PlayStation and Square Enix, Squaresoft at the time on the map. I don't need to go in depth of all the, historical, iconic things that Final Fantasy VII did. Because this video is not about that. This video is about the themes of Final Fantasy VII and the lesser spoken about themes, which is masks, delusion, and of course, unreliable narration. And I want to start with unreliable narration. Mostly for Final Fantasy VII, the most famous thing about the game is its main lead, Cloud Strife. Oh, by the way, there's going to be spoilers. I should probably have mentioned that ahead of time, but there's going to be spoilers for OG Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core and for Remake. They might dabble into some of Traits of Two Pass, and there might be some leading into Rebirth. I don't know. But if you don't want to be spoiled for potential for Rebirth, don't watch this video. Wait till Rebirth comes out and come back and play it. But if you played OG or whatever, come back. Hear my thoughts. That'd be cool. But as I was saying, Cloud, one of his most defining character, his history, so to speak, is that he is gaming's one of gaming's first unreliable narrator. And an unreliable narrator is what I'm going to put right here on the screen, the definition of unreliable narrator. But there's someone who is speaking in charge of the story. They're the ones who's telling the story to you, but you later find out that what they're saying isn't exactly what it appears because they believe what they're saying is truth and you're following along with what they're saying as well as truth, only to find out that it isn't the truth and that we don't quite know what this person or should believe what this person is saying. um I totally probably butchered the meaning for that. That's why I put the definition here on the screen for you to read. Cloud is that. You go and play in Final Fantasy VII, and you were looking at this guy. And at the time in 1997, anime was just kicking in. Anime was just becoming a major thing. Dragon Ball premiered and it was slowly gaining popularity. Video games were definitely becoming way more mainstream beyond, Mario and the mushrooms and everything. And so when people saw Cloud for the very first time, he didn't look like an elf with an armor on, and there was no mystical castle with dragons flying about and, loots or, anything that would be, nerdy. He was a dude with blonde spiky hair, a big ass fucking sword, and a cool bike, and a high big titty girlfriend who could punch tanks. And that was amazing. I cannot begin to tell you how it was being a little goose back in 97 and had already played Final Fantasy, before and seeing that this is the modern Final Fantasy. It didn't look like a Final Fantasy that I would play, but I was immediately hooked into playing 700 Pier, only to play at least 20 to 25 hours in and find out this guy isn't who he says he is. He's these merits are not his per se. And that was major. That was a major thing that people had never, up to that point, for a lot of younger people playing games, and even some young adults that were playing the games, had never really experienced before. Uh, your main character, your quote unquote, your hero character, uh, is a fraud. And of course, throughout the entire game, you learn the truth, learn his truth, and that things again aren't as they appear. And that's a big theme of Final Fantasy VII, is that people are not who they appear to be. And going in with Cloud, you have the rest of the characters. They all look like a motley crew of just random assortment of people. There is no unified design between all of them. They're all very anime unique. Nomura was just beginning his era of becoming the king of belts and zippers, with Final Fantasy VII, but they all don't look like they came from the same cloth, and yet they fit together perfectly. They are just a bunch of people who are gathered up by fate to go save the world. All these characters became memorable, but each and every one of them throughout the course of Final Fantasy VII winds up having their masks slowly being removed. Some of it is ripped off, some of it is broken, but all of them reveal who they are towards the end of the game. When they go from A to B, they need to change. They need to have their beliefs questioned. They need to have their lies become truths, or their truth that they had was a lie. And with Cloud in particular, we got his truth in the most violent way. We go up to Northern Crater, and Sephiroth, the main antagonist, tells him, "Hey, you were not there in Nibelheim where these events happened. No, no, no. That's not you in the photo. That's some other fucking dude." And then you have Cloud be like, "You're out of your fucking mind. You just killed Eris. You are a fucking liar." And you see Cloud look at his friend Tifa, who is his ride or die, and says, "I was totally there to take a picture." And granted, those were crude, chibi graphics. They were chubby and, you know, Popeye armed and everything. You couldn't really tell the emotion, but you could put yourself in the role of Tifa, who up to this point has always had suspicion. Something that Cloud is saying doesn't make any sense. He knows things that he shouldn't and doesn't know things that he should. And it's been her biggest fear throughout the entirety of the game up to this point, that he's going to find out that she knows that he's not who he says he is. And here we are in the Northern Crater, where Tiva has built herself as being this supportive rock, this this great good friend who, this is the moment of truth. Does she continue to lie to Cloud to make him feel at ease, or does she tell the truth? And Tifa, for this moment, is like, "No, you weren't there. I don't remember seeing you there, but I can help explain." And right now, just being confronted with that truth for Cloud is sending him spiraling. You have Hojo coming up, the ball's thrown to Hojo, who says, "Oh, yeah, I totally experimented on you. You're a clone. You're a puppet. You didn't even exist." But Tifa's sitting there saying to herself, "Whoa, whoa, no, 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 no. You may not have been there at that moment in Nimhelm, but I remember you being a kid." And then you have Sephiroth like, "Do you know? Do you really remember?" And you have to remember, Tifa also was traumatized in these events in Nimho. She also suffered a grievous wound that nearly killed her. So her memories of what happened in Nimhelm are not as concrete either. And she's freaking out. She's like, "No, this can't be right." Both Hojo and Sephiroth are experts at gaslighting. Like father, like son. And the rest of the crew are sitting back and wondering, we can't really help you here. They can't help Tifa or Cloud at this moment because honest to God, they don't know Cloud. They only know Cloud by what Tifa has told them and what they've seen from him. And even though he's been with them through thick and thin for, horrible moments for the death of Eris, they don't really know Cloud. So they can't provide any kind of support to Tifa. She's literally on her own trying to hold her friend together, but she doesn't have all the pieces herself. And so when Cloud breaks, it's a heartbreaking moment because you feel Tifa's blaming herself for what happened. That her sunny smile, her gentle voice, her compassionate words are not reaching Cloud in this state. That she made a mistake in not being truthful with Cloud. And now she's going to lose him. She's going to lose the person that she cares deeply for, that she loves, to this maniac monster who wants nothing more than to control him for evil, nefarious purposes. And while we're sitting there, there's a really big major plot twist that happens in Final Fantasy VII. There are other plot twists that are going to come up in reference to remake. To swing over to where we are currently with remake, they approach this bit by bit as the game unravels itself. Um, Square said you don't really play OG in order to get some of the events in remake. That's kind of not true. The moments that hit harder if you played OG and didn't play remake, because now you know that something is amiss. And in remake, you have these moments where the whispers or Genova, whatever, are interrupting Cloud's thoughts with memories of the future, memories of events that have yet to come, that are affecting, that will not, that are seen to be fixed, that are happening to him. And then another prevailing moment in Final Fantasy VII is in one of the resolution scenes between Cloud and Aerith, where Aerith is pretty much telling him, no matter what you feel, no matter what you see, you cannot fall in love with me. This is not real, And Cloud, being where he is mentally right now, is like, don't I have a say in the matter? Don't I have a right to say in the matter? And what's great about this particular scene with Aerith and Cloud is that you see that it hurts Aerith to say this. It hurts her to tell Cloud that the love he might feel for Aerith isn't real, because it's not true. It's not true. Cloud has feelings for Aerith, and Aerith certainly has feelings for Cloud. But Aerith, at this point in the remake, whether she is New Aerith, Rebirth Aerith, whatever Aerith, knows that there is going to be a trial where this truth will come out, that his memories, that Cloud's memories, do not belong to him fully, that they are shared with someone else that she had, someone else that she loved and still loves, and that's Zack. And it's a part of her that is very human, in which she knows that the person who's beside me, who I care deeply for, he's not whole. Okay. She has not met the real Cloud. She has only met the one that's under control of lies and under control of Genova. And that part she knows this to be true. But her feelings for Cloud, her love for Cloud, is making her just screw her duty. And it's kind of like that. She is devoted to changing fate, to stopping whatever is coming, to changing her own fate. And that is open for her to decide if she wants to make a life with Cloud, if she can change her fate, if she can't stop this from happening. And that's, you can sit there and say, well, she knows exactly. And let me pause here. For the Clarif, and the Kaladi people that might be watching this, shut up. shut, no, shut up. You've done enough. You've said enough. You're all wrong. I am right. Shut up. I'm gonna just shut up your mouth. Shut up. Shut up. You stop. Listen. Listen to the text. Just shut up. She is having a selfish desire, despite her knowing that Tifa does have feelings for Cloud, despite her knowing the future of the events post whatever happened in 5-7. there is that desire that she has for Cloud. And that's not something to be hating. That's not something you should hate her for. You shouldn't call her a homewrecker or any of the girls for that. If you say anything about that, about both Air Tifa, that they're any of those things, you're a moron. And I don't like you. And you should go away. Neither of them are bad for having desires. That is a human thing. It is a human thing. Wanting something and wanting someone are a human thing. And there's nothing wrong if you don't have those desires, of course. But for these characters who have tremendous feelings for Cloud, as well as they have for, Aerith for Zack, as well as, Aerith loving Tifa as well, that's a natural thing. So for this moment and what we saw in the trailer at the TGAs last week, we're seeing an Aerith who is confronting a part of herself that she knows she must stay focused on her mission. She needs to be sure that changing the fate. But what if? It's the tantalizing what if? What if I could have a life with Cloud? What if I could? What if I could? Is it wrong for me to want this? So the innocent flower girl who's soft spoken and have dreams and everything, love and flowers, blah, 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 that is part of Aerith. But another part of Aerith is that she has these emotions that she doesn't want to deny. Same thing with Tifa. Tifa's no, no, Tifa's no different. She has overwhelming love for Cloud, deeply loves Cloud, or has always loved Cloud. If you have read Traits of Two Paths, keep saying pass, that she's always loved Cloud. She never wanted the soldier. She never wanted the big hero. She just wanted just regular Cloud. But she's timid. She's shy. She doesn't know how to tell these emotions that she has deep inside of her. And that's part of the beauty of Arab. Arab is very open about what she wants and how she feels. And Arab brings out that side of Tifa as well. So, I really think all of them should just have sex. This could all be settled in a four-way. This could all be settled in a four-way. But to leave the love, pardon me, to leave the lovebirds, we have Barrett Wallace, and Barrett is such a unique character. In the original OG Final Fantasy VII, he was very much a stereotype. But for a lot of young Black kids growing up playing video games, we really didn't have that many Black heroes in a game like this before. Fighting games, yes. Brawlers, yes. Football, yes. Stuff like that. But in a rich RPG narrative kind of story thing, we didn't have that many. Not notably, not unapologetically Black. And even though it was problematic as fuck at the time, uh, what Square has done with remake Barrett has been nothing short of fantastic. And you are free to disagree with that. You're free to still have some problems with that. That's not I'm not saying you're wrong for having those feelings. But one of the things that I love about what Square has done with Barrett's character is just like I mentioned about the mask, about Aerith taking off her priestess mask and, Tifa taking off her childhood friend mask and confronting the truth and everything in there. Barrett physically has a mask. His mask is his sunglasses. His mask is his shade. Square made a brilliant call in giving Barrett those shades where he's wearing them, they are Barrett Wallace, leader of Avalanche, take no prisoners, tough talking, violent, passionate, fiery, man of conviction, leader guy. He's a guy who could give you the rousing speech. He's a guy who, wants to defend, his friends and family with all his heart. He's the brutish man. He's that guy, and you love him for that. But that is just a mask he wears. The glasses is not really Barrett. The real Barrett is when he takes off his glasses. And there's a wonderful shot in Remake where everything leads up to this moment where Barrett takes off his glasses and he talks to Cloud, telling him about people may not have places to go. They can't just leave. It's not as easy for them to just pick up everything and leave. And that's a great moment where you're looking at, yeah, this is not tough talking Avalanche bad man Barrett. This is man Barrett. This is father Barrett. This is, former soldier not soldier, but soldier Barrett, who is talking to you as a person who's been in a situation where he had to leave everything behind, where he had to help people who also left things behind where he didn't think they could. And he's talking to this young, spiky haired punk who, at the moment that doesn't know, has never experienced loss to his level yet, unknowingly does not know about the loss of losing everything he had and starting over. And he's talking to Cloud, but he's also talking to the player. He's also letting people know, like, it's a meta that there are people in the real world who can't leave their homes because they don't have anywhere else to go. Worlds could be so simple if you could pick up your shit and just leave, but you can't. And so you need to have that sympathy, that love, that empathy, that overwhelming tenderness that Barrett presents in that moment to you to understand that you need to care. A real man cares. And that's one of the most important lessons Cloud learns early on in the game for Remake, is that you know, being strong and being powerful are great things to have as a man, but you need to also have love and compassion for your fellow man in your heart. If you don't have that, you're not a man. You're just an emotionless machine. And beautifully depicted in a remake is how Cloud and Barrett's relationship change. It goes, and it's believable. It's not a forced change. You go from them throwing barbs at each other, being antagonists to each other, to them trusting one another, to learning from one another, to like Cloud is the angsty upstart, wonderkin, but he's dumb in a lot of ways. He's a dumb boy in a lot of ways, and the way to teach him to embrace that masculine part of himself is through example. And so there's a part in remake where after Sector 7 has fallen, Tifa is devastated. She's angry. She's furious, but she's so devastated at the loss of the Sector 7 people, of her friends, over her home, that after the collapse. And Barrett goes to her and says to her and grabs her hand and says, hold on to that anger, that hatred, you know. And there's no big dramatic, I'm gonna sweep you up in my arms and kiss you, baby, and let you know you're everything will be okay. It's just a very fatherly strength that he gives to Tifa and holds her. He gives her a hug. And Cloud is watching. There is no jealousy. There is no, I can't. It's more on lines of like, okay, I couldn't help Tifa at this part. I couldn't help any of my friends. I couldn't act when I needed to act. Should be, how can I make things right? And of course, if you get Tifa's resolution scene, you have that similar moment where Tifa walks to you after losing everything and she starts crying. And even though we're watching that scene, we're like, Cloud, God damn it, if you don't hug her, if you don't hug her, we're watching Cloud cycle through his memory, cycle to in his eyes, in his memory of a real man comforts. Even before this, before he met up with Marlon at the apartments, he's told to listen to Tifa, listen to her fears, provide her with comfort, and what you can do is be that rock for her. And so his mask of being this cool soldier, this badass guy, sheds, and he's now just this kid again. This kid who's in the moonlight, standing with his childhood crush, and she needs him right now. She needs him to tell her that everything is going to be okay. But if he can't tell her, at least depict it, show it, hug her, let her know that she's going to be okay. And of course, he hugs her a little too hard because he's a dork. But you can feel that I'm doing the right thing. I'm being a man. I am embracing, I am comforting the person that means so much to me right now. I'm doing good. She is so soft. She is so soft, and she is so tiny, and she is so strong, and she's beautiful, and she's Tifa, and I gotta do right for her. I gotta be there for her. I gotta be a better man for her. And you watch him learn. It's really wonderful having advancements in technology where we can have mocap and facial expressions and voices and environmental storytelling, all types of stuff that, we had a little bit in OG, but it was in a very crude rudimentary way in there. And man, this is going on a lot longer than I intended it to be. Hence why I put a part one there, because I knew I was going to go on a tangent with my faves first, and then everybody else would be second. So I'm going to wrap this up and say this is the first half of this video. This is part one. I will be doing a part two where I'll talk about my baby boy Zach and more in depth with Vincent and Sid, and of course our favorite Sephiroth and everything else in part two. But for now, we're going to end it here. It was great making this video. It's a long time coming. Don't worry, I have that shipping video that I've been working on for months now. A lot of things have changed since last Thursday, so I gotta do some more edits on that. But when I'm done, I'll upload it hopefully by the end of this month or by the beginning of the new year. But that's all for now. Thanks for listening. Drink water, and I'll see you next week. Bye.